Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new series. The series is called How to Fix. I'm not really that good at names. If you guys have a better one, please. But it's called How to Fix because the League community loves to be opinionated, and I am not saying I'm not opinionated. Heck, a lot of this is my opinion. But this time, I decided to make a small survey, post it on Reddit, and see what would happen. Well, I stopped my survey from counting at 300, and it was about Quinn, the little champion I'm playing right now. And essentially, the whole deal was, how do we fix Quinn? You know, this brand new carry that hasn't really been accepted yet, that might be an Elise or a Kha'Zix in disguise, and not really played to fruition yet, or maybe even in the wrong role. Well, pretty much, looking at the polls, we can see that 35% of people want tag team changed. 30% of people want vault changed, and then those are the highest. 25% wants Harrier changed, which is her passive, and then we have her Q and W at very little percents. So I allowed a field where they could write comments on what they thought they could change and make her better. Well, there is quite a few things that they have suggested, and a couple of them I'm okay with, but I'm going to go with the popular opinion, just so that we can understand and all get one standstill at how we figure we can make her better, or how to fix her and make her more viable. Well, we're going to start with some quality of life. Some quality of life changes to Quinn. A couple of her first ones, let me speed her up to lane. A couple of her first quality of life changes would be Valor needs to mark his target when he's coming down, and if she's shooting a target and Valor marks the target, she doesn't have to send a second basic. Now what I mean is, if you're watching right now, Valor's coming down and his mark doesn't mark until he touches the target. He needs to start as soon as his programming is telling him to go down and mark the target needs to be marked. And if you have a basic already in the sky, aiming at the target, they need to proc it, because the basic's already in the sky and needs to proc that damage. Now, that is a change to her passive, more so a quality of life. Now, we're going to go from the least to the most requested for the change. Her least requested is her W, Heightened Senses, which you will see me using in lane to check for ganks. Not a lot of people say that this should be taken away, but the common sense for the common census for this is that it needs to be a shorter cooldown. It isn't. In my opinion, I honestly feel like it does need a shorter cooldown because it doesn't have the same utility as Ashe's Hawkshot or Hawkeye. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, her Hawkeye is great for if they go into bushes and you need to chase them. But the thing is, Quinn's can't be sent halfway across the map to check. So people are requesting either A, a longer range by 100 units, B, a decreased time on the actual cooldowns, and then another one, which is a little bizarre, but I could actually see it working, is 25% of her speed buff when she activates it. Now, I mean, if you look at it right now, 25% of my current speed buff is 25%, or we have 20% right now, which is my current. So it'd be chopping that in 3 and 4, so I'd get 5% attack speed bonus. And at max level, I'm not sure what it is. I could look it up. I'm thinking it's 40. I mean, you're getting a 10% attack speed increase that you don't require Valor for, but you still require your Vault for. That could be a decent change, in my opinion. It could give her a little bit more, give her some more viability in teamfight and a little bit more buffed damage. But as of now, I see no real issues with that, as you can proc it whenever you need to. And I also do see the viability of having a long cooldown, because a shorter cooldown would allow you to do what I'm doing right now and check so often. The reason that the cooldown gets lower at higher ranks is because you're not laning as much, you're chasing more. And when you're laning, that's a really helpful tool. So let's go to her second ability, her Q, Blinding Shot, which is the first thing you max on her. Well, the complaints that surround this, there's 3, as I'm going to try and keep most of these. The complaints that surround this one is, it falls off late game. After rank 3, the damage on it is not where it should be after laning phase, or at least mid-game. It doesn't do enough damage. Second thing is its reliability after hitting target with the PvAOE. That is not good enough for some people. And some people think that it should be a line nuke, kind of like Zed's shurikens, and that should be how it works. It slowly loses damage in blind as it goes by, because apparently Valor's claws will get tired. What? And people think that that's not even worth it. I mean, okay, let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm not casting this game. So we do see that as a secondary issue. A third issue with it is the animation's too long. It should be much quicker. I have never ran into this issue when I'm playing her. It's not like Caitlyn's Piltover Peacemaker where it's like, look, aim, fire. It's bird down, shoot. And half the time, it comes as you need it. And then there's instances like that, which is Vault, which we'll get to later. So that's what people propose to fix that. What I propose to fix, or make her Q better, is to either A, increase blind duration with level, starting with a very small blind, and then increasing it, or increasing the damage, or increasing the range. Increasing the range would allow her to become an Ezreal when it comes to hitting with that, and that'd be a good idea. Maybe, I'm not sure, but that's kind of how I feel it needs to be. As for the AoE, I still like it because it allows you to do some pretty good trick shots, especially when you're stuck in situations where there's 800 minions at your one tower, and you need to get that CS and not let the turret have it. Now, we're going over to the third most requested change for her. Now, this change really, it's an interesting change. People want to see her passive get a massive change or become less random. Now, here's I'm going to put 4 in this one because this had the most different, I'll say that, the most different ideas. So, idea number 1 is make it where it only targets champions. I don't like this idea, although about 30% of the, not 30, but like 10, 20%, I can't get direct numbers, would like to see her passive do that. And I feel like it would take away from her laning and take away from her ability to push like no other, because if you're at a turret, minions walk up, you can get your speed buff and melt the turret. So, in essence, it really feels like, well, it just, I would say no to that. Because, I mean, right here, you're going to see me use it, and then use the extra speed buff to push one extra minion forward, and then get a hit on Pantheon and break his shield. Let's see. Second request is to make it a 5th ability. Yes, make Quinn the first champion with a 5th ability. What I mean by that, and what everyone else means, is give her an ability like move everything over 1, so her ult's on T, her vault's on R, and then have Q be her mark ability. I don't even like this very much. Like, it makes no sense because she already has the ability to mark a target with her E, and that's really one of the main reasons people play her. And, well, not really the main reasons they play. Wow. Sorry. One of the main reasons people complain about her is her E, but yet that is the ability that allows her to use Harrier. Some other suggestions are Harrier has a shorter cooldown with level, kind of like Morgana's, well, kind of the equivalent to Morgana's scaling on her lifesteal that she gets, or spell vamp. It scales with the ulti, because Valor is part of the ulti, so wouldn't it not make sense to have the mark ability become stronger as he becomes stronger? I like this idea the most, and in my opinion that could be a way to make her have much better late game where she falls apart because she is a glass cannon. Now, keeping on the topic of her passive and things that are out of the player's control, we can look at the flats on Quinn. The flats on Quinn, she doesn't scale well. She scales about the equivalent of Vayne, with about the same everything as Vayne, really. She has a lower attack scaling than Vayne, the equivalent of defensive stats, and I think she gets a little bit more health than Vayne does per level, but I could be wrong. As for her range, it's the equivalent of Vayne, and really, she doesn't have that much of a escape if she decides to go in and accidentally get caught out. Now, this is what brings me into her second most requested change, Vault. Vault was a monster to read, because people were either complaining about it or saying it's the best thing ever, and really, there needs to be some difference in it. And I can agree with about half of these. The most popular opinion is to make her untargetable during it, so that she can't have things like that happen where he just magically ignited me while I was in the middle of my vault. The whole animation of her jumping, hitting, and backing off of you should be completely untargetable. Something of a Yi Alpha Strike. And that's really what people are looking for in Quinn when it comes to that ability, because you're bringing her into melee range. That's dangerous. I mean, really. A Quinn, a glass cannon she is, that's like throwing a Vayne in there with no lifesteal whatsoever and just getting completely wrecked. I mean, it's kind of amazing, really, how Riot didn't even take this into consideration. As you'll see right here, I actually just popped the bird form to get away because of Maokai. And that kind of will lead into the next ability, because it is the most requested changed ability. But going back to her vault, people would like to see it have an increased back range, so she gets an increased attack range or doubled attack range for her next attack after using it, or just she gets pushed back even further because of how it works. Now, my thoughts would be to change her E to make her completely untargetable and increase the range she backs up. Maybe even increase the slow a little bit, back to 70 where it used to be. Because 50 and deteriorating only allows you to get about 4 basics in. And the old one used to allow you to get 6 if you were lucky in. You'd only be getting 1 to 2 extra basics per combo. And that really doesn't seem like it'd be overpowered. Okay, now into the big one, the kicker. The one ability that will rule them all. Her ulti. The thing that really puts her kit in the toilet and just flushes it down. So, everyone, not really everyone, well, it got 192 votes. About that many people figure that it's broken. And I see it is. You're having a glass cannon 80 carry go into a middle of a fight as a hyper carry, essentially, that has 2.5 attack speed. Well, how are we going to fix this? There are many, many thoughts on how to fix this, and some of the best ones would have to be low. Here's how to compensate for it. You are going to give her all of her cooldowns back. That's one. One of the first opinions is give her all of her cooldowns back when she changes into bird form. And yes, this would feel like a Jace or an Elise, but it just would feel kind of awkward to, well, not really awkward, but you'd have all your abilities back, but you'd still be going into melee range. I mean, yes, you can vault and then blind and then just eliminate one target, then possibly get out, but it just doesn't feel right. Second opinion would be give her a swapping ability. When she swaps, she actually gets new abilities, and make her feel, yet again, like Jace, Nidalee, and Elise, which I'm not partial to. But here is what my favorite is, and about half, maybe a little bit less, of the other people's, because I find this one would be the most balanced of all. Give her something along the lines of a Renekton buff when she goes in. Sorry, I want to watch this. I forgot what I did. I think I died here. Sorry for getting distracted. No, I got out. But, right there is actually a prime example of why bird form isn't broken, but you're going to have to keep in mind that it still is broken. Because what she needs to have, and what I was getting to, is that her abilities need a few fixes. Now, hold on, I just want to watch this. Yeah. Okay. Gotta quit trying to shoutcast this. I'm so sorry. So, back to how to fix her ulti. Her ult should be fixed in 2 or 3 ways. Her ult should give her extra health, give her either slowing field, or give her the ability. What am I looking for? Give her either a slowing field or give her a giant health increase of maybe 500 or 600 health. So like a Lulu ulti, or like I said, Renekton ulti, something that doesn't give an AoE and gives massive health. But give her that, give her all of her cooldowns back, make it where she can change back and forth instantly to get that execute. That wait time of 6 seconds is deadly. A lot of the times I run into a fight like, oh, I can just go in here and nuke everyone and get a Quadra. And then, out of nowhere, there's no Quadra. And that is quite infuriating. It really just makes her kit feel clunky, and she sometimes just needs a little bit of a fix. Her bird form just needs a fix. Now, in between giving her increased health and the cooldowns off, she also would really benefit from increased armor. Remember when Nidalee went into cat version and you really couldn't do anything because of the armor? Yeah, Quinn needs that, because Quinn's going to be in there focusing down single targets. And this would really help her and give her a quality of life, buff. Now, I can also say right now that her ult is great for taking out single targets and chasing single targets. But as an AD carry, when it comes to teamfight, there's no such thing as a single target, because it just gets ridiculous in the middle of teamfights. Also, I think I get to die here again. Yeah. No surprise there, the LeBlanc was fed. What was I? Yeah. So those are a few of the changes that really we'd like to see come to Quinn and make her better as a champion. Now, looking at it, we will see if we go through from her Q to her R. Her Q procs more often and gets a couple quality to life changes that make it where it's more responsive and it just feels better. Her Q, increase the damage at later levels and increase the range just a little bit. Her W, make it where you can get a small speed buff from the Q, or attack speed buff from her W, and really just bring her to give her a little bit of a buff that she doesn't have to force and would allow her to push lanes or something along those lines. Her E, her vault, make her untargetable, make her break all CCs, and just allow her to be Quinn and not become just this rooted thing to the ground that's about to be nuked. And then for her ulti, give her some health, give her some armor, and give her cooldowns back. That's really all the things and ways we can hope to fix Quinn. So if you enjoyed the content provided, leave a like. You would like to stay current, subscribe, and if you have any ideas or opinions on anything I've just talked about, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Oh wait, that's not mine. And I'll talk to you all later.